I'm Jeff with Fleet Feed Tucson. Today we're checking out the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3. Running shoes have evolved drastically over the past decade, and many companies are including a lot of different and new technologies in their shoes. These new innovations have helped many runners go both faster and longer without sacrificing comfort. One of these technologies in running shoes is the use of plates within the midsole. However, if we look back at the history, the use of plates in running shoes has actually been around for quite some time. According to Canadian Running Magazine, Brooks made the first plated shoes. Around 1989, Brooks launched two different shoes, the Fusion and the Fission, and both of these shoes incorporated that technology. These shoes had a carbon fiber plate in between the midsole and outsole that functioned as a propulsion system, according to the engineers at Brooks. They described it as being similar to a pole vaulter's pole, where momentum is collected and stored in the pole and then released, propelling the vaulter vertically and forward. In the shoe, the same principle applies to the carbon plate during landing and toe-off. Not long after Brooks, Fila produced a racing shoe with a carbon fiber plate, and then not long after that, Reebok with the Pump Graphite. That shoe featured a carbon fiber arch bridge positioned underfoot. While the Pump Graphite was more of a cross trainer, Reebok introduced the Graphite Road, which had a simple, streamlined design and was made more for running. Adidas also got in the mix with what they called their Pro Plate. Again, this was a carbon fiber plated shoe used as an everyday trainer, which was supposed to make longer runs smoother and easier. However, plated shoes really didn't have that large of an impact on the running shoe industry until about 2017. That is when Nike introduced a prototype of the current Zoom Alphafly Next Percent. That shoe propelled Eliud Kipchoge to break the 2-hour marathon barrier and also helped Brigid Kosgei shatter Paula Radcliffe's 16-year-old marathon record. They then released a commercially available carbon fiber plated shoe called the Nike Zoom Vaporfly 4%. Since that time, plated shoes have become in demand, and just about every brand has begun producing plated shoes. That gets us to the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3. While not a carbon fiber shoe, the Speed 3 is one of those shoes that has become incredibly popular. Instead of carbon fiber, the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3 sports a nylon plate. The nylon plate is less stiff than carbon fiber and is a softer ride, perfect for running longer distances than you would with a carbon-plated shoe. In simple terms, a nylon plate is best for everyday training, whereas carbon is best for race day. If we look back at the Speed 2, it was a huge hit for Saucony and their Speed line, which also includes the Shift, the Pro, and of course, the Speed. Saucony has also introduced the Endorphin Edge, which is a carbon-plated trail shoe. With the Speed 2 being such a great shoe, it was going to be hard for Saucony to improve upon that. However, I think the updates in the 3 make this shoe spectacular. Let's start with the biggest change, and that is the plate itself. Saucony updated it where the plate now has what they call wings. The plate extends to the outside of the midsole, creating a more stable and supportive shoe throughout the gait cycle. And you can actually see and feel the wings on the side of the shoe. The plate is also S-curved for an efficient landing and toe-off. I noticed the difference right away when I tried the shoe compared to the Speed 2, and I felt more stable within the shoe. I felt that in the 2, the shoe actually made me over-pronate a bit, but in the new version, that feeling is gone. It feels a lot better underfoot with that winged plate, and I think having added that improves the shoe quite a bit. Staying in the midsole, Saucony increased the stack height just slightly, so now there was a bit more cushioning. Where the Speed 2 measured 35.5 millimeters in the heel and 27.5 millimeters in the forefoot, the 3 now has 36 and 28 millimeters, an increase of about 1/2 millimeter. But it still has the 8 millimeter drop. With that increase in stack height, they also increased the width of the base by 7 millimeters in the heel and 5 millimeters in the forefoot, making it a wider shoe, which, like the winged plate, also improves the shoe's stability. With that increase in width and cushioning, the Speed 3 is slightly heavier than the 2, although it still comes in at a very lightweight 8.1 ounces for men and 7.2 ounces for women. That's only an increase of 0.2 ounces, so you really aren't going to notice the difference. The latest version still has Saucony's Power Run PB foam, which is lightweight and responsive, and gives you great energy return when running. It also still features their Speed Row technology, which makes for a good and fast heel-to-toe transition. Saucony also changed the upper slightly, making it stretchier and thinner. Along with a slight change in the upper, the outsole has also been modified, with Saucony adding a bit more rubber and altering the configuration a bit to give you a little bit better grip on the roads. With these changes, the price has gone up slightly to $170, which is a $10 increase from last year. With the new winged plate and wider base, Saucony has really improved this version over the previous model. One complaint of the two was that it felt unstable to a lot of people, especially in the heel, just given the stack height and soft cushioning. With the winged plate, that stability issue seems to have disappeared, and I think this version will be even more popular than the last. If you haven't tried this type of shoe before, one thing to look out for is durability. Even though you could use this as a daily trainer, just because of the cushioning and outsole, these types of shoes aren't typically as durable as your regular everyday trainers. You may only get between 200 to 300 miles in this type of shoe, whereas most running shoes are going to be between 300 to 500 miles. But you also don't get the same experience and type of shoe that you do with the Endorphin Speed. Therefore, I think it's definitely worth the price, just given how versatile the shoe is. And like every other running shoe, you'll want to stop by your local Fleet Feet or your local running store to try it on before you buy, just to ensure it is the right fit and feel for you. If you've worn the Endorphin Speed before, let us know what you think about it in the comments. Hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you for checking out our review, and I'll see you next time.